Good morning, everyone, and welcome. We're back to Weekly Profit Talk, where each week at 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time, um, every single Wednesday, we spend a few minutes in talking about the things that affect the bottom line of your medical practice. So, um, we have been on the road for the last couple of weeks, basically attempting to and having some success with getting the things that we need to do accomplished for our most valued clients while spending a few hours each day traveling in a recreational vehicle and trying to see all 50 states of the United States. I beg your pardon. Sorry about that. That's how you can tell we do this live. So, um, we are here every single week at 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time. That is 7:30 if you live on the Pacific Coast and 10:30 if you live on the Atlantic Coast. And if you happen to be in Chicago, of course, that'd be 9:30. So here we are. We are back at headquarters, and we'd like to talk about the simple, timeless inspiration. Not the. Let me start again. A simple, timeless inspiration for your medical practice. The things that I've been thinking about the last couple of weeks have been greatly influenced by the places we visited. We shot through South Dakota on our way to visit family in the Twin Cities area, and then returned through North Dakota. And things that stuck out for me and inspired me very much were, first of all, Mount Rushmore is amazing in person. This is something that I knew was up there, and it's a couple states away, and I've always wanted to visit it, and I am absolutely um grateful that we did. It's totally worth it if you have a chance. For one thing, unlike a national park, it's actually very affordable. They really only charge for parking, so um, now there are many other opportunities to spend money there, as I'm sure you're certain, gift shops and the like, but it's very affordable, and it's also very inspiring. The four presidents that they chose to immortalize in the mountain are all very inspiring, and I'm particularly impressed by, and I always have been impressed by the life and career of Teddy Roosevelt. He's a very dynamic individual, but let me I get to that in a second here. I'd like to, as always, I just put a little something up to look at besides my face when I'm talking. So, um, one of the things that we were also inspired by following Mount Rushmore is we actually attended a powwow at a Indian school that covers all the grades from the little tiny kids, I suppose that's kindergarten, all the way up through high school age. And the powwow was an amazing experience. It's in the Lakota Sioux area of South Dakota in the eastern part of the state. And that kind of took me back to reading and my own knowledge of Native American history. One of the things that's always impressed me is that the buffalo hunters of the 19th century were very efficient when they brought an animal down, or multiple animals, as the case may be. They used every single part of the animal. Of course, the hide for robes and blankets and teepee covers, naturally the meat, um, some for the immediate consumption, but they also created a product called pemmican, which is similar to jerky, and this would keep throughout the winter, and all the way down to the bones. The entrails in the stomach they used for water storage. Um, Everything they used, every part of the animal, and what impresses me about that is we're simply so wasteful in our 21st century cavalier attitudes toward consumerism. Um, I know people. I have a lot of difficulty doing this myself. I call it, my wife and I are both children of Depression era parents. So we're old enough to remember the whole waste not, want not thought process. And, there's children starving in other countries, that kind of thing. But I have direct experience of people that basically have refrigerators full of food, and they find themselves throwing away quite a bit of it because it doesn't get eaten before it spoils. And it's just sad when that happens. And I guess I'm drawing a corollary between that and what we do, which is advise businesses on being as profitable as possible. And one of the major things that we can do to ensure that this happens is to look at the things that we consider costs in your medical practice. Running lean and efficient is always going to be a very valuable and important part of your business. The less that you find yourself spending on expenses, the more you're going to have at the very bottom. Remember, we're talking about profit, and profit is simply a function of three elements. You have the money that comes in, your billings, your claims paid, receivables getting paid. Then in the top section, I like to consider staffing as well as the manufacture of anything that you might actually sell as a good or product. That's rare in practices, but I suppose it does happen in many cases. But staffing certainly creates something called gross profit, which once you subtract those costs, you have a gross profit number, which then is treated to one additional subtraction by all of the selling administrative expenses that come after it. And this includes all the softwares that you need, the consumables, the utilities, rent. I beg your pardon. Excuse me. So sorry. And at the bottom of those two subtraction problems, after all staffing and administrative selling expenses, you have net profit. And that is the money that you make. It's also the number that the IRS is interested in when they basically get around to taxing you. So, but running lean and efficient is a lesson that we can learn from and take inspiration from a people that lived a much simpler life, but knew that they were given a great gift and needed to use it to their greatest advantage. So let's see. Because in their simple, also in their simple spirituality, they recognize that life is a cycle, and the circle is an important symbol in pretty much any spiritual understanding. And your practice too is a cycle. We break it up into smaller sub-cycles. Accounting cycle is basically a month, but we also have quarters. Quarters are particularly important for payroll purposes, that sort of thing. But these things come around in a circle, and it gives us the opportunity to measure exactly how you're doing. The importance of tracking can never be undersold. And lastly, I'd like to talk a little bit about how important it is that you are actually creating a service that has a value in this world. Excuse me a second. Gather my thought there. The life and legacy of Teddy Roosevelt inspires me in a way that causes me to think about the importance that he placed on natural resources. And he created the national forest system, but was also very large on national parks. There's actually one named after him in western North Dakota. If you want to see bison up close and personal, by the way, it's a must see. Very, very fun and awesome. And you basically can take pictures right out of your car that will impress all your family for years to come. It was pretty incredible, really. And it's got a lot of charm, very beautiful scenery, intermixed with a lot of the Badlands landscape that you can also see in the southern part of South Dakota. And the main thing is this. This president recognized the importance of our natural resources and protecting them for generations to come. And you realize that this has a value for the people of our country. And one of the things that is important for you to embrace, certain you do on some level, but I want you to know that I see you and I understand this to be true. What you're doing for society is of great value, and consider yourself and your practice a precious resource because it's important. There are a number of people that are doing things that make a lot of money, and they're basically contributing to society by entertaining us. And that's great. As long as there's a market for something, then certainly the people that are earning the money doing those sorts of things are basically, I don't want to say entitled because I don't think that's the right word. But if someone works hard, they do have a right to the rewards that they receive as a result of that work. But there are some things, if you take entertainment, that's certainly helpful and nice. But what you do is one of the most important things in the history of civilization. And though it becomes very convoluted with all of the logistics and the accounting and the regulation, and of course, with the pharmaceutical situation the way it is, basically the people that create the medicines that you prescribe have a very narrow window where they actually make money. I guess there's that thing where the first pill costs $20 million or whatever that number is. After that, the individual pills cost considerably less. But we live in a commercial society as far as medicine goes, and it's not the easiest thing in the world. But we are also in probably the best country in the world in terms of the kind of advances that we have in medical science. So again, what you do is extremely valuable, and you are also a national resource. So those are some thoughts that I had while I was traveling around the last couple of weeks. And I hope any part of this was even slightly inspiring for you. That was my whole point in sharing this with you. So we will continue to come to you each week. Next Wednesday will be the 9th of October. And again, we'll be here at 8:30 Mountain Time. That is 7:30 on the West Coast, 10:30 on the East Coast, where we'll talk about profit each and every week on Weekly Profit Talk. So until next week, have an awesome day, a great rest of your week and weekend. And if you have a chance, do something randomly kind for a stranger. So until then, have